Commander Thax stared at the star map with 6 eyes wide open. His blue tentacles shook as he pointed to a red zone in space. The words glowed bright. Human space, do not enter death zone. Sir, his young officer asked, why is that area marked in red? Thax turned around slowly. His voice was quiet and scared. Because, young one, that is where ships go to die. That is human space. The bridge went silent. Every alien on the ship knew the stories, but none dared to speak about them. 200 years ago, the galaxy was different. The Galactic Council ruled everything. Powerful alien races controlled the stars. They had big ships, strong weapons, and billions of soldiers. Then they found Earth. At first, the humans seemed weak. They lived on just one small planet. They had simple ships and basic weapons. The aliens laughed at them. These humans are nothing, the council leaders said. They will join us or die. But the humans said no. Admiral Crix of the Vorthan Empire was angry. His race had conquered 50 worlds. No one ever said no to them. Bring me all our battle records about humans, he ordered. His assistant brought a small data pad. Too small. This is it? Crix asked. Yes, sir. Every battle with humans is here. Crix opened the files. His face went white. Every single battle had the same result. Alien fleet, destroyed human losses, unknown survivors, none or one. How is this possible? Crix whispered. The assistant was shaking. Sir, the survivors, they all say the same thing. What do they say? They say humans don't fight like us. They fight like something else. In the great council chamber, leaders from across the galaxy gathered. The Zephyrians with their crystal bodies, the mollusk lords with their slimy skin, the machine empire with their metal faces. All of them were scared. We must discuss the human problem, said High Chancellor Vex. An old Zephyrian stood up. His crystal body was cracked from many battles. I fought humans once, he said. Only once. Everyone leaned forward to listen. My fleet had 1,000 ships. The humans had 50. We thought it would be easy. His voice got quieter. We were wrong. So very wrong. What happened? Someone asked. They knew we were coming. They knew everything about us. Our weapons, our shields, our battle plans. It was like they could read our minds. The chamber was dead silent. When the battle started, we couldn't hit them. They moved like ghosts, like shadows. Our weapons passed right through them. His crystal body started glowing with fear. But their weapons found us every time. Ships exploded all around me. My friends, my family, all gone in minutes. How did you escape? Chancellor Vex asked. I didn't escape, the old warrior said. They let me go. A human ship came close to mine. I saw the pilot through the window. What did you see? Eyes, cold, calculating eyes. The human looked at me like I was an insect. Then a voice came over my radio. Everyone waited. The human said, go home. Tell them what you saw. Tell them to stay away. Captain Zix was young and brave. Some said he was also stupid. He listened to all the stories and laughed. Humans are just another alien race, he told his crew. These old ones are scared of ghost stories. His crew didn't look convinced. Sir, his first officer said carefully, maybe we should listen to them. Every single alien race fears human space. Even the machine empire avoids it. Zix waved his hand. Fear makes cowards of everyone. I will prove that humans are not special. He walked to the star map and touched the red zone. Set course for human space, he ordered. His crew looked at each other with worry. Sir, are you sure? The navigator asked. Yes, we will be the first ship in 200 years to enter human space and return. We will be heroes. As Zix's ship moved toward the forbidden zone, alarms started beeping. The computer voice was calm but scary. Warning, entering restricted space. Turn back now. Ignore it, Zix said. Keep going. The ship crossed the invisible line into human space. Suddenly everything changed. The stars looked different. The darkness felt alive. The ship's sensors started showing strange readings. Sir, the sensor officer called out, his voice shaking, I'm detecting something. What kind of something? I don't know. It's everywhere and nowhere. It's like the space itself is watching us. Zix felt a cold chill run down his spine. For the first time, he wondered if the stories were true. Behind them, the red line marking human space began to glow brighter. They had crossed into the forbidden zone. There was no turning back now. Part 2. The Silent War 200 years ago. Ambassador Velox adjusted his formal robes as his ship approached the small blue planet. Earth looked so peaceful from space. White clouds, blue oceans, green lands. It seemed harmless. Such a tiny world, Velox said to his aide. How can these humans be any threat? His ship was massive, 10 miles long, covered in weapons and shields. Behind it followed 50 more ships just as big. The Galactic Council had sent their finest fleet. Sir, the communications officer called out, we're receiving a transmission from the planet. Put it through. A human face appeared on the screen. The creature had only 2 eyes, strange flat teeth, and skin that was pink and soft. It looked so weak. Welcome to Earth, the human said with a smile. I am President Chen, how can we help you? Velox was surprised. Most aliens were scared when the council arrived. These humans seemed happy. Greetings, human, Velox said in his most official voice. I am Ambassador Velox of the Galactic Council. We come with an offer. Please tell us, President Chen said politely. Your world will join our council. You will give us 60% of your resources. In return, we will protect you from dangers in space. The human was quiet for a moment. Then he smiled again. That's very kind of you, Ambassador, but we must refuse your offer. Velox blinked his 4 eyes in confusion. No one ever refused the council. I don't think you understand. Velox said slowly. This is not a choice. This is how things work in our galaxy. President Chen's smile never changed. We understand perfectly, Ambassador, but our answer is still no. On his ship, Velox turned to his military advisor, General Krathos. The general was a Thrakari warrior, 8 feet tall with armor-like skin and razor-sharp claws. These humans are foolish, Krathos growled. Let me show them our power, Velox nodded. Do it. General Krathos activated the ship's weapon systems. Bright energy beams shot toward Earth, but instead of hitting the planet, they stopped in mid-air. An invisible shield surrounded the entire world. What? Krathos roared. How is this possible? On the screen, President Chen was still smiling. Did you just try to attack our planet, Ambassador? Velox was shocked. The humans had detected their weapons test instantly. It was just a demonstration, Velox said quickly. We see, President Chen said. His smile looked different now, colder. Would you like to see our demonstration? Suddenly, human ships appeared out of nowhere. They didn't come from Earth. They didn't come from behind asteroids. They just appeared. One moment space was empty. The next moment, thousands of human ships surrounded the alien fleet. Impossible, General Krathos whispered. Our sensors didn't detect anything. The human ships were smaller than the alien ones. They looked almost fragile, but something about them made every alien on the bridge feel afraid. How many ships do they have? Velox asked. The sensor officer checked his instruments 3 times. Sir, I count 10,000 ships. 10,000. Velox's voice cracked. Where did they come from? I don't know, sir. They're just there. President Chen's voice came through the speakers again. Ambassador Velox, you brought 50 ships to threaten our world. We thought you should see what a real fleet looks like. Admiral Vexus, leader of the alien fleet, pushed Velox aside. Human, you dare threaten the Galactic Council? We have conquered 1,000 worlds. Have you? President Chen asked quietly. Yes, we are the most powerful force in the galaxy. President Chen looked sad. No, Admiral. You were the most powerful force in the galaxy. That ended the moment you threatened Earth. What happened next was not a battle. It was a lesson. The human ships didn't fire first. They just moved. They moved in ways that broke the laws of physics. They turned without slowing down. They disappeared and reappeared instantly. They seemed to dance between the alien ships like leaves in the wind. Target them. Admiral Vexus screamed. The alien ships fired everything they had. Laser cannons, plasma torpedoes, quantum missiles. Enough firepower to destroy a planet. None of it hit. The humans moved like they knew exactly where every shot would go. They slipped through the weapons fire like it wasn't even there. Then the humans fired back. The alien fleet began to die. Not quickly, not all at once. The humans were precise, surgical. They destroyed one ship at a time, always giving the others time to see what was happening. Each human shot found its target perfectly. Engines exploded. Shields failed. Weapon systems shut down. Our shields are useless. Someone screamed. They're targeting our exact weak points. another voice cried. Admiral Vexus watched his mighty fleet fall apart. Ships that had conquered worlds were dying like insects. How do they know our weaknesses? He whispered. In 30 minutes, 49 alien ships were destroyed. Only Vexus's command ship remained. The human fleet surrounded the last alien ship. President Chen appeared on their screen again. Admiral Vexus, he said calmly, you have a choice. What choice? Vexus asked. His voice was broken. You can die here with your ship, or you can go home and deliver a message. What message? President Chen's eyes went cold. Tell your Galactic Council that humans want to be left alone. We don't want to conquer anyone. We don't want to rule the galaxy. He leaned closer to the camera. But if anyone threatens Earth or human space again, we will respond. And next time we won't be so gentle. Admiral Vexus's ship was allowed to leave. He carried the message back to the Galactic Council. At first, the Council didn't believe him. Then other races tried to test the humans. The Zephyrian Empire sent their crystal fleets. The humans destroyed them without losing a single ship. The Machine Collective sent their robot armies. The humans turned the machines against each other. The mollusk lords tried to sneak past human defenses. The humans detected them light years away. After 50 years of failed attacks, the Council made a law. Human space is forbidden. No ship shall enter. No weapon shall be pointed at Earth. Now, 200 years later, Captain Zix flew deeper into human space. His ship's alarms screamed warnings. His crew begged him to turn back, but Zix kept going. He didn't know that human sensors had detected his ship the moment it crossed their border. He didn't know that human commanders were already deciding his fate. He didn't know that he was about to learn why the galaxy feared humanity. In the darkness of space, human ships began to move. The silent war was about to begin again. Captain Zix's ship moved deeper into human space. The darkness felt alive around them. Strange energy readings filled their screens. Sir, the sensor officer whispered, I'm detecting movement. What kind of movement? Zix asked. Everything, sir. The asteroids, the space dust, even the light itself. It's all moving in patterns. Zix looked at the readings. Nothing made sense. Space itself seemed to be watching them. Keep going, he ordered. Humans are just another alien race. But deep down, he was starting to doubt his words. Meanwhile, in a hidden human facility, Admiral Sarah Chen sat in her command chair, watching dozens of screens. Each screen showed different views of Zix's ship. Ma'am, a young officer said, the alien vessel has crossed our outer detection grid. I can see that, Lieutenant, Chen replied calmly. Species identification? Vorthok Empire, ma'am. Captain Zix commanding. He's young, inexperienced, and very arrogant. Admiral Chen smiled. Not a happy smile. A cold, calculating smile. How refreshing. It's been 2 years since anyone dared enter our space. She touched a control panel. Wake up the silent fleet. On Zix's ship, the alarms suddenly stopped. The strange readings disappeared. Everything went quiet. What happened? Zix asked. I don't know, sir. All the weird signals just stopped. Zix felt a chill. That's not good. When things go quiet, it usually means something bad is about to happen. He was right. 200 years ago, after the first alien attack, Admiral Chen's ancestor, Admiral David Chen, stood on the bridge of humanity's first real warship. Around him, his officers prepared for war. Sir, his tactical officer reported, alien fleets are massing at the edge of our solar system. 50 different species, over 10,000 ships total. Let them come, David Chen said quietly. It's time the galaxy learned what humans can do when we're angry. The first officer looked worried. Sir, we only have 500 ships. The odds are 20 to 1 against us. Admiral Chen turned to face his crew. His eyes were hard as steel. You're thinking like the old humanity, he said. The humanity that lived on one planet and played by everyone else's rules. He walked to the main screen, where Earth floated peacefully in space. But we're not that humanity anymore. The moment they threatened our home, they created something new, something the galaxy has never seen before. The first alien fleet to test humanity after the Council's defeat belonged to the Krex Empire. They were bug-like creatures with hard shells and sharp claws. They thought humans were soft and weak. Commander Vash led 100 Krex warships toward Earth. His plan was simple: destroy the human fleet, enslave the survivors. Human ships detected, his sensor operator reported. 20 vessels approaching. Vash laughed with his clicking voice. 20 ships. This will be easy. But when the battle started, nothing went as planned. The human ships moved like they were alive. They twisted and spun through space in impossible ways. Krek's weapons couldn't hit them. What's wrong with our targeting systems? Vash screamed. Nothing, sir. The humans are just... They're moving in ways that shouldn't be possible. Then the humans fired back. Their weapons weren't larger than Krek's guns. They weren't more powerful. But they were perfectly accurate. Every single shot hit exactly where it would do the most damage. They're hitting our weak points, someone yelled. Points we don't even know we have. In 30 minutes, 99 Krek's ships were destroyed. Only Commander Vash's ship survived. A human voice came over his radio. Commander Vash, the voice said, you have 5 minutes to leave our space. How do you know my name? Vash asked, terrified. We know everything about you. Your species, your military records, your family back home. We even know you have nightmares about your first battle. Vash's blood went cold. That information was classified. No alien outside his race should know it. Who are you? He whispered. We are humanity. We are what happens when a peaceful species is forced to become warriors. Leave now and never return. Back to the present. Captain Zix stared at his empty screens. The silence was getting worse. Sir, his communications officer called out, I'm receiving a transmission. From where? I don't know. It's coming from everywhere at once. A human voice filled the bridge. It was calm, polite, and absolutely terrifying. Captain Zix of the Vorthak Empire. Welcome to human space. Zix's crew looked at each other in fear. How did the humans know their names? I am Admiral Sarah Chen of the Human Defense Fleet. You are trespassing in restricted space. Show yourself, Zix demanded. Come out and fight like a warrior. The human laughed softly. Fighting? Captain, you're not here to fight. You're here to learn. Suddenly, Zix's screens came alive. What he saw made his heart stop beating. Ships. Thousands and thousands of ships. They surrounded his vessel from every direction. Above, below, left, right, everywhere he looked, human warships floated silently. But these weren't normal ships. They glowed with strange energy. They moved without engines. Some of them seemed to fade in and out of reality. Impossible, Zix whispered. Where did they come from? We've been here the whole time, Admiral Chen's voice replied. You just couldn't see us. The largest human ship moved closer. It was beautiful and terrifying at the same time. It looked like it was made of liquid starlight. Captain Zix, Admiral Chen continued, your species has legends about the old ones, don't they? The first race to travel the stars? Zix nodded, too scared to speak. Those weren't legends. They were warnings. The old ones didn't disappear. They didn't die out. They just got tired of ruling the galaxy. The truth hit Zix like a physical blow. You're saying, humans are... We are the children of the old ones, Admiral Chen said. We are what they became when they chose to start over. When they chose to be something new. The human fleet began to move, not toward Zix's ship, around it. They performed a complex dance in space, weaving between each other in patterns that hurt to watch. What are they doing? Zix's navigator asked. They're showing us their power, Zix realized. This isn't a battle formation, it's an art display. Each human ship left trails of light as it moved. Together they were painting a picture in space, a picture that told the story of the galaxy's history, the birth of the first stars, the rise of the old ones, the creation of the Galactic Council, and finally the return of humanity. When the display ended, Admiral Chen spoke again. Captain Zix, you came here to prove that humans aren't special, but you've learned the opposite truth. What truth? Zix asked quietly. We are very special, but not in the way you think. One of the human ships opened a docking bay. You're invited aboard, Captain. It's time you saw what 200 years of human development looks like. Zix's crew begged him not to go, but he knew he had no choice. As his shuttle approached the human ship, he wondered what horrors waited inside. He was about to discover that the truth was much worse than any horror. The humans weren't monsters. They were gods, and they were angry. To be continued. Part 4. The warning spreads. Captain Zix's shuttle docked with the human ship. His hands shook as he walked through the airlock. What he saw inside made him forget how to breathe. The ship was alive. The walls pulsed with gentle light. The floors felt warm under his feet. And everywhere he looked, impossible technology hummed with quiet power. "Welcome aboard the Serenity," Admiral Chen said, appearing before him. Zix stared. The human looked normal. 2 eyes, soft skin, no visible weapons. But something about her made his survival instincts scream danger. "Don't be afraid," she said with a kind smile. "We're not going to hurt you." "Yet," Zix whispered. "What was that?" "Nothing," he said quickly. Admiral Chen led him through corridors that seemed to stretch forever. Human crew members worked at stations that made no sense. One officer was controlling star charts with his mind. Another was speaking to computers that answered in musical tones. "How is this possible?" Zix asked. 200 years of motivation," Chen replied. "Do you know what happens when you threaten a species that learns fast?" Zix shook his head. "They learn even faster." They entered a vast chamber. The walls showed space outside, but not normal space. Zix could see energy flows, gravity waves, and the hidden structures that held reality together. "This is our observation deck," Chen explained. "From here, we watch the galaxy." "Watch it do what?" Chen turned to face him. Her eyes seemed older than her face. "We watch it make the same mistakes over and over again." 6 months after humanity's first victory, the news spread across the galaxy like wildfire. The Galactic Council's mighty fleet had been destroyed by primitives from a backwater planet. Most aliens didn't believe it. Emperor Thax of the Mollusk Dominion laughed when he heard the reports. "Humans, those soft little creatures, impossible." His advisor, a nervous creature named Glim, shifted uncomfortably. "Your Majesty, perhaps we should be careful. The survivors seem very frightened." "Survivors lie to cover their shame," Thax declared. "I will show the galaxy how to deal with humans." He sent his war fleet toward Earth. 500 ships, armed with the most advanced weapons in mollusk space. They never returned. The crystalline hive tried next. Their living ships could repair themselves and adapt to any weapon. The humans turned the ships against each other. Crystal fought Crystal while the Hive Queen watched in horror as her children destroyed themselves. The Machine Collective sent robot fleets that couldn't feel fear or pain. The humans reprogrammed them in mid-battle. The robots returned home and dismantled their own factories. The Psionic Brotherhood attempted to control human minds from light years away. They found something in human consciousness that drove their psychics insane. 3 of their mind masters never woke up from the experience. Back on the Serenity, Admiral Chen showed Zix recordings of these battles. "Each species thought they had the perfect weapon against us," she said. "They were all wrong." "How?" Zix asked. "How do you defeat every possible enemy?" Chen smiled sadly. "We don't defeat them, Captain. We understand them." She touched a control, and the room filled with holographic displays. "This is what we learned from each attack: mollusk battle tactics, crystalline adaptation methods, machine programming languages, psionic control techniques." Zix stared at thousands of alien technologies, all somehow integrated into human systems. "You steal their weapons?" "We learn from their weapons," Chen corrected. "Every species that attacks us teaches us something new. We study them, understand them, and become better than them." "That's impossible. No species can master every form of warfare." Chen's expression grew cold. "You're right. No species can, but we're not just one species anymore." She led him to another chamber. Inside, Zix saw humans working alongside creatures he'd never seen before. "These are the peaceful ones," Chen explained. "Species that were conquered by the same empires that attacked us. We freed them." A tall, graceful being with silver skin approached them. Its voice was like music. "Admiral Chen, The quantum calculations are complete. We can now fold space-time across 17 dimensions. Thank you, Ambassador Harmony, Chen replied. Please prepare the demonstration for our guest. The being bowed and glided away. Zix felt his world spinning. You have allies. We have family, Chen said. Every species we've liberated becomes part of humanity's extended family. They share their knowledge with us, and we share our protection with them. How many? Chen's smile was gentle but terrifying. Currently, 237 different species, growing every day. They reached the ship's command center. Zix expected to see a typical bridge with chairs and screens. Instead, he found a living forest. Trees grew from the floor, their branches reaching toward a ceiling that showed real stars. Streams of water flowed between glowing flowers. And, everywhere, humans and aliens worked together in perfect harmony. This is where we make our decisions, Chen said. Not in cold metal rooms, but in a place that reminds us what we're protecting. At the center of the forest sat a simple wooden chair. Chen sat down, and suddenly the entire room was connected to her thoughts. Captain Zix, her voice echoed from everywhere at once. You came here to test human strength, but you've discovered something much more dangerous. What's that? Human compassion. The trees around them began to glow. Images appeared in the air. Planets being freed from tyranny, species learning to work together, wars ending in peace instead of conquest. We could have destroyed the galaxy, Chen said. With our technology and our allies, we could rule everything. Why don't you? Because that would make us no better than the Council. We chose a different path. The images changed, showing human ships departing from liberated worlds, leaving the inhabitants free to govern themselves. We free them and then we leave. We ask for nothing except that they treat other species with kindness. Zix felt something break inside his chest. All his life, he'd believed that power meant domination, that the strong ruled the weak. But humans had ultimate power and chose to use it for protection. Captain, Chen said softly, you have a choice to make. What choice? You can return to your empire and report what you've seen. Tell them that humans are dangerous and should be avoided. Help us maintain the peace. Zix nodded. That seemed reasonable. Or, Chen continued, you can tell them the truth, that we're not just dangerous, we're inevitable. That kindness backed by absolute power will eventually spread across the entire galaxy. The weight of that truth settled on Zix like a mountain. What happens if I tell them the truth? Chen stood up from her chair. The forest around them seemed to hold its breath. Then your empire will try to stop us. They'll gather allies, build bigger weapons, and attempt to destroy humanity before we can infect the rest of the galaxy with our ideas. And then? Chen's eyes filled with ancient sadness. Then we'll have to show them why 200 years of peace has made us stronger than 2 million years of war. Captain Zix was escorted back to his ship. As his vessel departed human space, he stared at the star charts on his screen. The red zone marking human territory seemed smaller now. Not because it had shrunk, but because he understood what lay beyond it. Not monsters or demons, something far more terrifying. Hope. Hope that the galaxy could be better. Hope that peace was possible. Hope that strength could be used to protect rather than conquer. And hope, Zix realized, was the most dangerous weapon of all. As his ship crossed back into normal space, he made his decision. He would tell his empire everything. The galaxy was about to change forever. Part 5. The Truth Revealed. Captain Zix's ship arrived back at Vorthak space. His crew was silent. They had seen things that changed them forever. At the space station, Admiral Korks waited with his war council. Hundreds of alien officers from across the Empire gathered to hear Zix's report. Captain Zix, Admiral Korks boomed, tell us what you found in human space. Are they as weak as we hoped? Zix stood before the council. His hands still shook from his experience. "Admiral," he said quietly, "we need to talk. All of us, right now." The room buzzed with excitement. They thought he had good news. They were wrong. "What I saw in human space," Zix began, "will change how we think about everything." Admiral Corks leaned forward. "Tell us, Captain, how many ships do they have? What are their weaknesses?" Zix closed his eyes. "Ships? They don't have ships, Admiral. They have something much worse." "What do you mean?" "They have hope." The room fell silent. Several officers looked confused. General Thox, a massive warrior with 4 arms, laughed. "Hope? Captain, hope doesn't win battles. Weapons win battles." Zix looked at him sadly. "General, you don't understand. Their hope is their weapon." On Earth, in the Human Command Center, Admiral Sarah Chen watched the live feed from Vorthak space. Advanced human technology allowed them to see and hear everything happening in the alien council chamber. "Ma'am," her aide said, "Captain Zix is telling them everything." "Should we be concerned?" Chen smiled. "Not at all, Lieutenant. This is exactly what we wanted. Ma'am, for 200 years, we've been waiting for someone brave enough to enter our space and see the truth. Captain Zix just became our messenger." She touched a control panel. "Alert all human fleets. The galaxy is about to change forever." Back on the Vorthak station, Zix continued his report. "They have technology we cannot imagine," he said. "Ships that appear from nowhere, weapons that never miss, shields that cannot be broken." The council members nodded. This sounded like normal military intelligence. "But that's not the scary part," Zix continued. "The scary part is why they have all this power." "Why?" Admiral Corks asked. Zix took a deep breath. "Because they were attacked first. Everything they built, everything they became, was in response to threats from species like us." The room grew uncomfortable. No one liked being compared to the failed attackers from 2 centuries ago. "Captain," General Thox said impatiently, "get to the point. Can we defeat them or not?" Zix looked directly at the general. "No, sir. We cannot defeat them. Nobody can defeat them. But that's not the real problem." "What's the real problem?" "The real problem is that we don't need to." Confused murmurs filled the chamber. Admiral Corks raised his hand for silence. "Explain yourself, Captain." Zix activated a holographic display. It showed the human ship he had visited, the living forest, the allied species, the peaceful technology. "Humans don't want to conquer us," he said. "They want to free us." "Free us from what?" Someone called out. "From the idea that strength means domination. From the belief that we must rule or be ruled." The council members looked at each other with growing alarm. General Thox stood up angrily. "Captain, you sound like you've been brainwashed by human propaganda." "Maybe I have," Zix admitted. "Or maybe I've finally seen what the galaxy could be like." The hologram changed, showing freed worlds where different species worked together in peace. Cities where aliens and humans built amazing things side by side. Space stations where former enemies shared knowledge and resources. "This is what they offer," Zix said. "Not conquest, not slavery, partnership." Admiral Corks's voice was dangerous. "And if we refuse their partnership?" Zix met his gaze without flinching. "Then they leave us alone. They don't force anyone to join them. But other species see what they're building. They see worlds without war, without hunger, without fear, and they choose to join voluntarily." The truth hit the council like a physical blow. The humans weren't spreading through conquest. They were spreading through example. General Thox slammed his 4 fists on the table. "This is unacceptable. If humans continue this infection of peace, it will destroy our way of life." "Yes," Zix said simply. "It will." The room erupted in angry voices. Some officers demanded immediate war against humanity. Others argued for negotiation. A few quietly wondered if the human way might be better. Admiral Corks shouted for order. "Captain Zix, what do you recommend?" Zix stood silent for a long moment. Then he spoke the words that would change the galaxy. "I recommend surrender." The room went dead quiet. "Not military surrender," Zix explained. "Surrender of the idea that we must rule others to be strong. Surrender of the belief that peace makes us weak." Meanwhile, across the galaxy, other species were having similar conversations. Captain Zix's report had been broadcast live, intercepted by intelligence services throughout known space. On Mollusk Prime, Emperor Thax watched the footage with growing horror. On the crystal homeworld, the Hive Queen calculated the odds of stopping human expansion. The numbers were not encouraging. In machine space, robot analysts concluded that resistance was futile and adaptation was necessary. But on hundreds of smaller worlds, planets conquered by the great empires, ordinary beings watched with growing hope. For the first time in their lives, they saw an alternative to endless war. Back on the Vorthak station, the debate raged for hours. Finally, Admiral Korks made a decision. Captain Zix, you will return to human space as our official ambassador. Sir, you will negotiate terms for our partnership with humanity. General Thox roared in protest. Admiral, you cannot be serious. We are warriors. We do not bow to anyone. Korks looked at him with tired eyes. General, we have been warriors for 1,000 years. And what has it gotten us? Endless battles, constant fear, and a galaxy that hates us. He stood and walked to the great window overlooking space. Maybe it's time to try something different. 1 month later, Captain Zix returned to human space, but this time his ship carried diplomatic flags instead of weapons. Admiral Chen met him personally at the border. Captain, she said with a warm smile, welcome back. Are you ready to see what we can build together? Zix nodded. Behind him, his ship's hold carried the first group of Vorthak volunteers, engineers, scientists, and teachers who wanted to learn the human way. Admiral, he said, my people have a question. What's that? How do we start over? How do we become something better than what we were? Chen's smile grew brighter. The same way we did, Captain. One choice at a time. One friend at a time. One peaceful solution at a time. She gestured to the human ships around them. And don't worry, you won't be doing it alone. Across the galaxy, the change began. Not through war or conquest, but through simple choice. Species after species looked at their endless conflicts and asked the same question. What if there's a better way? Some chose to fight the change. They gathered their fleets and prepared for one final war against human expansion. But others chose hope. They sent ambassadors to human space. They asked to learn. They volunteered to help build the new galaxy that humans envisioned. And slowly, quietly, without firing a shot, humanity began to win the greatest victory in galactic history. Not the victory of the strong over the weak, but the victory of hope over fear. The victory of peace over war. The victory of what could be over what had always been. 5 years later, Captain Zix, now Ambassador Zix, stood on the observation deck of New Hope Station, the first joint human-alien city in space. Around him, hundreds of species worked together on projects that would have been impossible alone. Art galleries where crystal beings created sculptures with human poets. Research labs where machine intelligence solved problems with organic intuition. Parks where children from a dozen worlds played together without knowing they were supposed to be enemies. Admiral Chen joined him at the viewing window. Any regrets, Ambassador? She asked. Zix watched a group of young humans and aliens working together on a new type of faster-than-light engine. Only one, he said. What's that? That it took us so long to find you. Chen smiled. Don't worry, Ambassador. We have all the time in the universe now. Outside the station, ships from across the galaxy arrived and departed in peace. The red zones on the star maps were disappearing, replaced by green zones marked, Welcome, all species. The silent war was over. The loud peace had begun. The end.